Have you ever wondered why you sometimes feel like a stranger in your own life? You go through the motions, nodding when you don't agree, smiling when you don't feel joy, keeping quiet when everything in you wants to scream. Outwardly, you appear calm, but deep inside, something is rotting. You tell yourself, "I'm fine. This is normal. Everyone feels this way." But if you're honest, brutally honest, you know the truth. You're suffocating. This isn't just your story, this is the human story. And today I want to show you why silence, your silence, might be the most dangerous thing in your life. Because it doesn't just keep the peace, it kills your voice, your spirit, your identity. And the cost of that betrayal is far greater than you realize. We think silence is harmless, we think it's wise, but often it's neither. Silence is a prison we build for ourselves, brick by brick, lie by lie. Nietzsche once said, "All truths that are kept silent become poisonous." And he was right. The unspoken truth doesn't vanish, it festers. It turns into resentment, anxiety, self-hatred. Think about the last time you swallowed your truth. Maybe it was at work when your boss took credit for something you did. Maybe it was at home when someone close to you dismissed your pain. Maybe it was in the mirror when you told yourself you were okay. What happened after? Did the silence bring you peace? Or did it coil inside you like venom, shaping the way you saw yourself? Silence, when rooted in fear, is not peace. It is self-betrayal. Plato's allegory of the cave tells us about prisoners chained in darkness, forced to watch shadows on the wall, believing those shadows to be reality. That cave is not just an ancient story, it is your life. When you silence your truth, you stay chained in the cave. You convince yourself the shadows, the shallow approval, the absence of conflict, the mask you wear, are enough. But deep down, you know they're not. The one who dares to turn around to leave the cave is blinded at first by the light of truth. It hurts, it overwhelms, it costs everything familiar. But eventually, that same light is freedom. So why do we keep choosing silence? Because silence feels safe. It spares us rejection, judgment, humiliation. It shields us from discomfort. But safety has a price, and that price is your life. Machiavelli, who understood the machinery of power better than most, once wrote, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." In other words, your value doesn't come from the labels society gives you, it comes from what you stand for. Yet when you remain silent, you stand for nothing. You dissolve into the background, hoping to be invisible, and in that invisibility you lose your honor, your dignity, your sense of self. Every time you silence yourself, you betray yourself. And here's the tragedy. Betrayal by others hurts, but betrayal by yourself destroys. Think of Bonhoeffer, who resisted the Nazi regime. He once said, "Silence in the face of evil is itself evil." He knew that silence is not neutral. Silence sides with the oppressor. Silence sides with destruction. Now think about your own life. Who have you sided with by staying silent? The boss who undermined you? The partner who disrespected you? The part of yourself that whispers, "Don't make trouble, stay small"? You think you're protecting yourself, but really you're feeding the very forces that diminish you. Here's the danger. Stay silent long enough, and you forget you were ever wearing a mask. At first, the mask feels heavy. You're aware of it. You feel the strain of pretending, of hiding. But eventually, the mask fuses to your skin. You begin to confuse the performance for the person, and when you lose the ability to tell the difference, when you no longer remember your own face, you've paid the highest cost of silence, your identity. Nietzsche warned of this in his vision of the last man, a creature who avoids risk, avoids truth, avoids greatness. The last man lives comfortably, quietly, safely, but he dies without ever having lived. History gives us a brutal reminder of what it means to choose truth over silence. Socrates, accused of corrupting the youth of Athens, was offered a choice: stay silent, stop questioning, and live, or speak his truth and die. He chose death. Why? Because to him, a life without truth was not life at all. His final act, drinking the hemlock, wasn't just a death sentence, it was a declaration: silence is worse than death. And yet, most of us choose silence every day over and over again, as though it were survival. What's the real cost of silence? It's not just missed opportunities or unsaid words, it's deeper, more corrosive. The cost is self-respect. Every time you bite your tongue when you should speak, you teach yourself you don't matter. You reinforce the belief that your voice is worthless. The cost is connection. Silence builds walls. It makes you unknowable, even to the people who love you most. The cost is your future. The longer you stay silent, the harder it becomes to break free. The habits deepen, the mask tightens, the cave grows darker. Silence doesn't just kill the present, it poisons the future. You think silence keeps you safe, but the truth is silence keeps you small. Imagine you're standing in a burning house. The fire spreads, the walls collapse. You know you should scream for help, but you tell yourself, if I stay quiet, maybe no one will notice. That's how absurd silence really is. It feels like survival, but it guarantees destruction. At the end of life, people rarely regret the things they said. They regret the things they never said, the confessions left unsaid, the apologies never spoken, the truths never voiced. And here's the irony. The pain of speaking is temporary. The pain of silence is permanent. You will either suffer the discomfort of speaking your truth now, or the lifelong agony of having never spoken it. And yet, silence today doesn't always look like silence. In a world drowning in noise, silence often wears a disguise. We speak endlessly but say nothing. We post, we share, we argue, but it's all noise without truth. This is silence in its most deceptive form, a flood of meaningless words masking the absence of real ones. We are louder than ever, but emptier than ever. So what do? How do we escape the prison of silence? It starts small: one truth spoken, one mask removed, one refusal to stay chained in the cave. It starts with you daring to say what you've never said, to yourself, to others, to the world. You won't feel safe, you won't feel ready, but you'll feel alive. Because here's the paradox: silence feels safe, but kills you slowly. Speaking feels dangerous, but sets you free. You are faced with the same choice as every thinker before you. You can remain the prisoner, watching shadows. You can wear the mask until you no longer remember your own face. You can live as the last man, comfortable, unnoticed, forgotten. Or you can risk everything. You can risk rejection, conflict, misunderstanding. You can choose truth over silence, even when it costs you. Because in that choice, you don't just save your voice, you save your soul. One day your life will end, and in that moment, silence will not comfort you, silence will not protect you, silence will not matter. So I ask you, what are you still silent about? And how much longer are you willing to pay the price?